Hello and welcome to What We're Watching. It's Catherine.
And Ed.
And John.
Straight off the bat, I wanted to talk about Mr. Harrigan's phone. Anybody?
All right. Look that up.
Why are you keeping up on...
Sorry,
you're keeping all up on Netflix. I don't understand.
I don't know. I'm on Netflix. It suggests things. I'm interested in things. I somehow watch things.
No, you got to wait at least a month, 6 months. Then it's...
I felt like it was appropriately creepy.
Which is bad.
No, creepy is okay. I just can't handle like gory, scary.
You did say appropriately creepy, so that's just like a double qualifier. It is the level of creepy that is appropriate.
It's appropriate for me, I guess.
It doesn't creep me out.
Okay, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, Mr. Harrigan's Phone is a Netflix movie, and it's based on a Stephen King short story. And I don't know when he wrote this short story, but...
Strike one.
What? Oh, strike one you don't want because it's Stephen King?
Well, we're talking about scary things. All right, keep going.
All right. I mean, it is kind of scary. It's not totally that... Well, okay. It's scary-ish. It's not a horror movie. It's more of a suspense movie.
I'd like to believe you.
All right. Well, whatever. Okay. So essentially, as you might imagine, there is a phone that is very involved in the story.
Did you even just? All right, come on.
Okay. So it stars Donald Sutherland, who is an old rich man in this neighborhood, and he has this kid from the neighborhood come and read to him. And as the kid gets older, iPhones become a thing. So it's kind of taking place in the 80s, or no. When did iPhones happen?
Yeah, in the 80s.
In this dude's 80s.
He's in his 80s.
There you go. That works, right? Saved it. You're welcome.
Okay.
Like mid to late 2000s.
Okay.
So before
wow, boy,
2000,
I was really off.
Before 2010, I believe.
Yeah. They've almost done an iPhone a year.
Okay.
And they're at like the iPhone 14, so about 14 years back.
All right. Okay.
I think it was somewhere between 2006 and 2008 is what I would say.
Okay. So this takes place when iPhones are just getting going. And
everybody got that?
Wait, but what year exactly?
You know what? Shut up. So
now we're talking about iPhone 1 generation. Whew, those are terrible.
This is the very first iPhone. And they do actually say like there might be a bug with your iPhone, which is kind of like a little story device that they use. Okay. Anyway, so the kid gets an iPhone and then he gives the old man an iPhone. And basically, is there magic or some kind of phenomenon going on? The answer is maybe. So
I think it's called Find My iPhone, but I don't know. Keep going.
So anyway, it's look, I don't want spoilery. I think it's really worth watching. I enjoyed it. It was kind of like a good Halloween thing, and also just scary enough to be okay for me, but not gross and scary. So I liked it a lot. The main kid, Jaden Martell, he was great. And I've seen him before, but I didn't really like have it locked in who he was. He was in It, which I definitely did not see. He was in Knives Out, which I did see, but I didn't remember him. I don't know. I think he made a bigger impression on me in Defending Jacob, which was an Apple TV Plus show, but I didn't watch the whole thing, so I kind of didn't fully get him locked into my brain. Anyway, he's very good in it, and the story is really kind of cool. And there's a couple other casting people, particularly Kirby Howell-Baptiste, who we love.
Who's in everything.
Who is in everything. She plays a teacher. She's great. Also, the guy who plays his dad, Joe Tippett, he's great. And I couldn't figure out where I knew him from. And it's because I just saw him in Alaska Daily. And he plays a pilot in that. Anyways, good for him. He's great. Anyway, so I really liked it. And I would say you don't have to worry about being too scared. It is a little creepy, but it has a good kind of, balance of creepy and not too scary. And I don't know. I liked it. Okay, so that's basically all I'm going to say about Mr. Harrigan's Phone.
Well, our resident poker arounder of the internet isn't here, so I filled in for Liz a bit and poked around. Turns out the director wrote the screenplay for Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, which was shot in Savannah, Georgia, where I went to school.
Oh, sure.
What an interesting connection, Catherine. You're watching stuff from the guy that wrote the movie about the city that I went to school in.
I mean, that's a very strong connection.
Yes, it's creepy.
How dare you? It's the perfect connection.
So there you go. That's Mr. Harrigan's phone. And then after that, I watched 2 stand-up specials. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
did like a flippity flop of tone and flavor. So the first one I watched was Yvonne Orji, A Whole Me. She is fantastic. She's from Insecure. That's where most people might know her from. She was one of the friends of the main character in Insecure. I think this is her second stand-up special, and I saw the first one. The first one, she actually went back to Nigeria, which is where her family is from. And very interesting. You met her parents, and she's fantastic and super interesting. And I loved how that was a combination of like a home documentary and a stand-up. Great.
Nice.
So that was the first one. But this one, Yvonne Orji, A Whole Me, is an interesting combination in a different direction. So this time she's doing stand-up, and then it's intercut with little vignettes, almost like sketches or scripted little scenes. Super cute and fun element to it. And I'd love to call out some of the actors, but I couldn't figure out who they were. So I can't. But they were great. She had like a little ensemble group of like 3 or 4 actors who played her parents and guys that she might be dating and her therapist. And it was fantastic. It was a really cool little element. Anyway, so that one was great. So that's Yvonne Orji, and that is available on HBO. So HBO Max is how I ended up watching it. And then I also watched Iliza Schlesinger's new special, which is called Hot Forever. So I think this might be her 6th stand-up special. God, that's hard to say. 6th stand-up special. Okay. All right. This was great. I guess I hadn't really tracked that she's had a baby and like, I didn't know what she was up to, but this was very funny. So
she's had a pretty interesting last couple of years, especially since we reviewed a movie that she wrote probably prior to all of the stuff that she's been doing since then.
I think that might be why I didn't realize where she was on the like getting married, having babies spectrum, because Good on Paper, which is what you're referring to, is about dating. So I guess I thought she was still single, or I don't know. I mean, it's fiction, so why does it have to make me think that she's not married or having kids, or I don't know what. Anyway, but I didn't have it straight what she was doing in her life. So even one of her jokes, she's like, I just had a baby, blah, blah. I was like, wait, what? And I had to like look it up on the internet. I'm like, Iliza had a baby? What? I don't know. Okay, but yeah, she did. So really fun show, and that is on Netflix. Okay, so that's what I've been doing. There you go.
Well, John, did you want to go next?
I was going to say not enough. You haven't done enough.
What? Well, one more thing, I guess I could throw out there. It's just a quick little mention that Ghosts is back, and I'm very much enjoying that. So I love that show. It's so cute. So Ghosts on CBS, and there's more shenanigans and more ghosts, and it's so funny. The husband, he gets injured in, I think, the 2nd or 3rd episode, and he's so excited because he thinks he might be able to see ghosts, and then spoiler, he cannot. So because it's real, I mean, that's part of the ongoing humor, is that the wife is constantly interpreting for the ghosts to the husband, and then the husband thinks that he is best friends with one of the ghosts, who they actually are quite friendly and have a very funny relationship, but the wife has to be there to like anyway. So he gets very excited because he thinks he can see Pete, his favorite, and it turns out he is just seeing a delivery guy.
Which one is Pete?
Pete is the one who kind of looks like a Boy Scout with an arrow through his neck.
Oh, all right. Sure. We love Pete.
Yeah. I mean, Thor's had some really funny stuff. I think his name is technically Thorin. He's had some very fun stuff going on. It's a good season. I think they're only a couple, maybe 4 or 5 episodes in at this point. So, CBS Ghosts. Loving that.
Okay.
All right. Okay, now I'm done.
Okay.
I mean, I do have other things that I'm still watching, but I'm technically done.
All have other stuff.
I know.
All
right.
have other
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
Relax.
All right. Your turn.
Speaking of ghosts.
What?
And fun ghosts, right? Because that's the mood. That's the mood for this month, is fun ghosts, not creepy ghosts. I don't know what's wrong with you watching creepy stuff. I unfortunately did not put enough time on the schedule between all the podcast editing to finish the 4th, but I did rewatch Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, Ghostbusters Answer the Call, and I'm halfway through Ghostbusters Afterlife with Paul Rudd, the fourth in the franchise. And they're all fantastic.
Oh, wow.
I love the Ghostbusters movies. Just in the last 2 days, I was watching Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and they're supremely distracting because I know so many quotes from those. I was realizing I said things from those. I'm like, oh, that's where that's from. It's been a minute since I watched you. Those are good lines. I'm not going to quote them for you now because there's too many of those movies in my brain. There's plenty of great lines from the Ghostbusters movies. I hope you've seen them. Podcast.
Now, where did you see them? How did
right.
you?
This was the challenge, right?
Okay.
One of the new things that I've got is Starz.
Oh, I was going to say, is this a Starz
is
call
the
out?
one that has the Afterlife, which is the newest one with Paul Rudd.
Okay.
So once I had access to that, I'm like, backwards. Let's go backwards. Where can we find them all? First and second one are available on Hulu right now. And the third one is the first time I've ever watched something on Freevee. / had to sit through commercials during a Ghostbusters movie.
Well,
So
I mean, look.
it was a spooky experience, let me tell you, people.
I mean, on the other hand, I'm sure we did have to sit through commercials occasionally.
Yeah, like televised commercials, but you know you're getting into that. Whereas
Right,
this,
yes.
I watched like back-to-back full features, and then suddenly there's like, and did you want to buy some of this? But as I knew that I was going to have to watch one of them with commercials in it, one of the fun things about watching all these movies that you've watched so many times before, like Ghostbusters 1 and 2, is then you could just like pay attention to other stuff that's going on in the background. And there's scenes where I had not really ever noticed that the Stay Puft Marshmallow bag on the counter has the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man logo with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man on it, on the bag. I could only ever read it because it was such low quality, screenings that I've seen before. So seeing it in HD, fantastic. I saw some details that I'd never seen before. That was great. Then there was like, I mean, this is fun because there's things that you get to watch over and over again where now I'm paying attention to other stuff and I'm like looking for all the product placement in the background where everything is facing forward with the label. It's so good. It's so good. I love when they get their products in there. But there was this one scene where in the first Ghostbusters where Rick Moranis' character, Louis Tully, their eventual lawyer, but in the first movie, he's the neighbor to Sigourney Weaver's character.
Right.
He gets possessed.
Right.
But he was having a party, and it was a party that he was writing off for all of his accountant clients. And who brought the dog? It's not a dog, it's a demon. It runs across the street. The same exit later, when the Ghostbusters are going back to the hotel, there's a door guard. It's the same door guard, like at that hotel. Then later, he gets knocked over when they're going out. And then at the end of the movie, it's the same door guard. He's all messed up. He's got marshmallow stuff on him like everybody else does at the end. I'd never noticed that guy. It's the same guy like 4 times in all the... Why wouldn't it be the door guy for the hotel that they go to every single time? Between the first and the second movie, they're fun to watch and a blast. And so that brings me up to the third one, which I rewatched today. And it's like basically 80% an SNL cast. Oh, and Chris Hemsworth is in that. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So that's the one that was on Freevee?
Yes.
So it's got commercials, but do they make any edits to it? They don't like take out swear words or like, do they? I mean, they don't like clean it up, do they?
I didn't notice. That was
okay.
a particularly like light comedy. I don't think there was a lot of curse words in it.
Yeah.
So they might have been able to get away with that one without doing much editing if it might have just been PG-13. It had no curse words. But I don't know. I don't know if the Freevee is a broadcast.
I'll be interested.
Sound.
Yeah, I don't know what its vibe is.
Because it is on
yeah.
Amazon, so it feels like it's under Amazon's rules of, we just put an R rating on it. Good luck.
Yeah,
Don't let your teens watch it, I guess, maybe.
I don't know if it has anything to do with that.
Yeah. It's interesting to think about because mostly I think of, broadcast TV as, that's where advertising is. And then, of course, you're going to think of like, oh, it's on USA or TBS or one of the networks. So, of course, it's going to be like all the F-bombs are going to be like, frick, or whatever.
Right. So one of the fun things about the third movie, although I'm not going to, didn't do my research. We're not doing huge fans of this yet. So I don't know if the third movie is truly canon, if it's the same universe as the Ghostbusters 1 and 2. The new one, Afterlife, is set in the same universe. They have a clip where they show footage from the first movie where they actually like are outside the hotel getting back and you could see all the Ghostbusters. So that's really fun that they're already really truly referencing that first one.
Yeah, I mean, I think you get to a scene where Paul Rudd talks about like,
do you not know?
Yes. New York in the 80s?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was crazy.
So they made it real.
It was like Walking Dead.
Yeah, so it's interesting to approach it from that. No, this is real history.
It's
So
in the
now,
same universe.
what would people think about something that really happened?
And if it was covered up, and like they said in the first movie, they like basically the mayor like gave them this huge bill and denied them, and they disbanded. They weren't allowed to be Ghostbusters anymore. Of course, people would forget.
I feel as if the third one is in the universe. It's just separate people.
You get all of the stars back, except Harold Ramis, who had passed. However, they do have a bust of his head that is dedicated. But Annie Potts is across all the movies. Mm-hmm. Dan Aykroyd is in all the movies. Bill Murray's in all the movies. Sigourney Weaver is in all the movies. So far, everybody I've named is in the latest one. I haven't seen Sigourney, and she's in like the last 5 minutes.
So all of them were in the third one too? I didn't
exactly.
realize
But they
that.
weren't playing character. They weren't by their names. They're characters. And some of them have kind of switched modes. Like Sigourney Weaver had kind of taken over an Egon style character. Like I don't disagree that they could be in the same universe, John, but I think they're all like alternate universe versions of all those characters, like, or they got kicked into that movie's dimension or something like that. Because Sigourney Weaver was coming off real smart in the third movie, and she's like an art historian violin player. So I'm not giving her the scientist hat that she was wearing in the third movie, but I'm hopeful that she's in the fourth one. Anyways, so, and Ernie Hudson is also in all 4. So ultimately, I'm very satisfied so far by half of the fourth movie. And with Paul Rudd, I knew I was going to be satisfied with anything he was in. If he's in 10 minutes or something, it's probably pretty good.
I mean,
in my
Paul
opinion.
Rudd is pretty great.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Yeah, that really does make number 3 very confusing to have all of them,
But not playing the same
'cause
characters.
I'd forgotten
yeah.
it's been a while.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh yeah, they've got different names. They are not the same.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
But then,
there's just-
again, the Ghostbusters canon, there's an entire like cartoon. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to fit that into these movies either.
I don't think the cartoon.
Shush.
Yeah,
You probably
okay.
are. The
All right,
real
never mind.
Ghostbusters.
Okay.
It was a real cartoon. I watched it. It's great. Slimer had a lot of lines.
Oh, well. All right.
I don't know if Slimer's back in this one yet, but I can't foresee not having Slimer in the fourth movie.
Well,
There's no way.
You'll
You're
have
gonna
to report
Slimer.
back.
Yes, I will have to report back on the second half of the fourth movie. I tried, you guys. I really tried. I tried. All right, but that's what I brought to the pod. A lot of ghosts.
Love it.
Good job. Well, I saw a new movie in the theater,
You did.
Nice.
Triangle of Sadness.
Is that the name,
What?
or is that just your feelings about it?
You people don't know what's happening.
I don't know what's happening because I don't know this movie.
That is the name of the movie, and it's a funny reference to something that's said specifically in the movie. It's become the American name or whatever that's getting released slightly more widely on. And the initial French name was Sans Filter, so, without filter, because that is a big thing is, well, it's not, social media isn't a big thing in it, but it plays a part in it. Because your 2 lead characters are like models, and then one even calls the other one an influencer at one point. So, and there's various jokes about social media that happened for sure. However, what you must have really missed out was it winning Cannes.
Wow.
I did.
Okay. I apparently was not paying attention.
Yeah, and so this, well, we'll do the sad part first, and then we'll go back to the rest of that.
Okay.
Because then that lead actress, Charlie B. Dean, has died.
Aww.
It's very sad. She died this summer. Not all circumstances are known. She was feeling unwell. So it's very, very sad because this was, I hadn't seen her in Black Lightning, that television show. She'd done a couple other things, but, this was really maybe the, beginning of a star turn. So it's quite sad. And she's very good in this. The movie is kind of crazy. I think there's 3 parts. So that you really get a lot of different feels of what's happening. It's not just, oh, well, this normal day, this other normal day, and this other normal day. It's like this set of circumstances, this totally other set of circumstances, and then this third set of totally different circumstances. But from director Ruben Östlund, by the way, a lot of pronunciation issues for me that are about to happen. So just...
I'm looking at the cast list like, well, I can click on these.
Yeah, he is Swedish. There's various Danish people. There's all kinds of, Charlie B is South African. There's all kinds of things happening. So he's had many movies. This is his second movie. The movie he did just before this, 2017, The Square, also won Cannes.
What the?
Palme d'Or. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
So I haven't seen The Square, and that's not the documentary that was about Arab Spring in Egypt. This is a fictional movie, but I have seen the one he done slightly before that, which was Force Majeure, the one about the avalanche and, the couple and the family. And,
the one that was remade with Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Will Ferrell. Yeah. Yep. Oh my God, that concept was so funny. And the fact that it was like based on okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so very strange. So I've seen one of his other movies, but I haven't seen his other winning movie. But Force Majeure obviously has remade, has quite a reputation itself. So, I mean, this movie is, I avoid the trailers. I had the impression that there was a comedy angle, but I was confused or didn't really understand if there was or was not, but there really is. And I don't want to dissuade. I really am hesitating to tell people no, it's hilarious, but it was it's very funny. Now, it's some of the things you've seen before, whether you've seen the preview or not, or once you get into the circumstance, maybe you can almost see some of the things coming. But the way it pulls it off does end up working pretty well and still being very funny. Enjoyed it very much.
Okay, so I have a question.
No questions, actually.
The question portion is not happening. Where did you see it and with who? Where was this? Where is it playing?
So there's these things called movie theaters.
You're the worst. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then, though true, it's not playing at every movie theater, so that is a little bit of a struggle. So it was at one of the B movie theaters that is not as close to where, I or the other person was.
And I just wondered if it was only at art house typey things. Okay, it's just regular. Okay.
It's in the middle. It's not at every multiplex. It's going to be at some multiplexes. Mm-hmm. So because it's I don't know. I mean, it's probably gaining steam. It's possibly going to be an awards contender.
Well, geez, the Palme d'Or. Yeah.
And the other half of your lead, you do have other people, and I do at least want to mention one or two of them.
Okay, I can't wait to hear you try. No, I'm just kidding.
Some of these are more challenging than others, for sure. But the other, quote-unquote lead, the male model, Harris Dickinson, I did just see how they run. Who was playing, a young Richard Attenborough, which was crazy, and seems slightly hard to put those two people together, remembering him from Jurassic Park. But, he was older then, I guess. Mm-hmm. So, and then I forgot, I haven't seen, there was a teen supernatural movie that he was in. He's in a couple other things, so he's really, he's everywhere now, apparently.
Harris Dickinson.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Well, and guess what? If you need a lot of time without someone's shirt, you're going to get it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he is, it's funny because it's, the other thing you end up hearing, and is true, and not that I don't think it is a part of this, but I don't know, it's not really how I ended up reading the movie. But you hear about satire and black comedy. And yes, it's not full Zoolander male model satire, but I think, baked in is you're a great male model, and that means what? So, and that's only just one element of the satire, and a lot of it is about, sort of, the rich culture or whatever you want to say that is. And look, I just take it as comedy. I'm not oh man, this is I can't even believe they're sending up yachts. Okay, who cares? But
yachts can take it.
I think they can. But there are other aspects that you're oh, well, yeah, that's not so good, but this is okay. And then this, I guess this might just happen this way. This is all very strange and weird. But look, for comedy purposes, I think it works great. I don't care what happens in the real world, I guess. Speaking of the yacht, that is where you're going to get Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, I'm looking at this IMDb page, and I'm really surprised. So, okay, Woody Harrelson, awesome.
Yeah, you look, as usual, whatever, I'm going to say you don't get as much from him as you want, but it is pretty good. You get some.
All right.
It's enjoyable. Now, I do feel like I've set you up with an expectation, and I guess saying this maybe won't turn out, but the way it starts with him, you're now oh man, this is what John meant. This is crazy. Well, that's not actually, it's going to go slightly differently than that.
Okay.
But very enjoyable from him. Also, now, maybe some people would feel like this is slightly less important, but you have this guy in it, Zlatko Buric. He's Croatian and Danish, but what you might remember him from, also playing a Russian, millionaire, billionaire, whatever, in 2012, which I really enjoy.
Like the rich guy who has the plane.
Well, yes. So he's the
Wait, which one is 2012?
John Cusack.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, is that the
Yep.
one with the prediction that the calendar is going to
Woody
end?
Harrelson.
Is Woody Harrelson's in that too?
Correct.
Oh my
I know,
God.
Is he in the
Okay.
RV in that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I have some of my 2012. I
Yeah.
don't have all of my 2012.
I have already realized this as I've told someone else this, and I was like, oh, apparently this is going to be something that I care more about than other people.
What, 2012?
Well, no, this connection.
Oh, this guy.
No. This is fantastic.
Because then the second level of that is because I care more about 2012 than some other people.
Okay. Oh my
Yes,
God, that's funny.
I don't know. Look, are we
This
being...
guy's involved in a lot of survival stories, is what John is getting at.
No, I'm just, it's a very enjoyable
Just these two
performance.
movies.
He's in a ton of stuff. He's actually in Nicholas Winding Refn's The Pusher trilogy, which I still need to see. So
Pusher trilogy? What's that?
because if you remember Drive, the Ryan Gosling movie, he was the guy who directed that, Nicholas Winding Refn. And so this was his earlier success, The Pusher trilogy.
The Pusher trilogy. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm not arguing with you about
Well,
it.
you
Jeez.
don't have the information, and I'm giving it to you,
don't.
apparently. So, but this guy, Zlatko, is in it. So there's other things besides 2012. But he's the guy that John Cusack is driving for, and then like has a plane, and then they get the second plane that they really end up spending time on is not his plane, and it also has all those cars on it, and there's many fantastic moments that you should
True.
know about.
Wow, you just really have 2012 on the tip of your tongue.
It's kind of ridiculous. This happened with a different situation. I was like, no, don't you remember from that movie in this like one scene that they're in? And everyone was like, no. I don't remember. And I was like, oh, I think I like
was
that movie
really
more than
intense,
you.
and I remembered every scene.
No, what I was going to say slightly earlier was I'm trying not to, I'm not sure. I want to say 2012 is between 5 and 10 times, but I think it's more than 10 times.
Oh my God. What? Is it on rotation? Like, what was that movie that you brought up recently? You're like, every 6 months or a year, I feel
Well,
like I
look.
need to watch whatever. What was it?
All of that's
Many things.
Many
Many
movies.
things, okay.
The rotation is a fallacy because I don't actually time them or pay attention. It's just that I try not to watch these things, one
All the
after
time?
other. So it's like some might just feel like, okay, it's a slightly shorter. So like, oh, it's like maybe twice a year is kind of. Other ones it feels like, no, I kind of end up waiting a little bit more. So yeah, I don't know. 2012 is probably like a once a year.
Okay, wait. Was it Den of Thieves?
It could have been so many movies.
All right, well,
But
I
here's
feel
the
like-
good news. I
yeah.
just did some
It's-
quick math for you, John.
Yeah.
It is around 10 if it's once a year from when that came out in 2012.
I mean, there's
But
so
he's saying
if we're gonna
it might be
guess
more than that.
it's more than that, I'm guessing it's somewhere between 12 and 20.
very good job. I mean, there's so many good parts to it. Everybody should see it as many times as I have.
Where are you even seeing 2012?
Why are we even talking about
Okay,
that? It's just
whatever.
on services, and then you
Okay.
notice it's there, so you watch it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're so funny.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know. You just that is one of those ones that like it's. I don't know if it's when it crops up. I don't know. I'm not really looking for it. It's definitely one I enjoy. There's a lot of people in it. There's a lot of like storylines, so it's not just a like. It works in that way for me,
All right.
which is not always what I want, but frequently. what I want.
Frequently. That is what you want.
I mean, there's many frequencies, so
Yeah,
I can
right.
like to do a lot of things.
Sure, of
frequently.
course. I mean,
Catherine.
yeah. I'm not.
different things.
You do you. You
Some
do you.
Movies that have just one storyline, and then movies that have multiple storylines.
Sometimes you need John Cusack driving a limo.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need John Cusack going and visiting his ex-girlfriends. Sometimes you need John Cusack skiing down a mountain. Sometimes, I don't have a fourth one, but
They're certainly out there.
anyone trying to take a guess at the second two movies out of that list of three?
I had them when you said them.
I had them when you
I
said
think it
them.
was,
Also.
it was High Fidelity was the second one.
Yes.
And the ex-girlfriend. I was gonna say, say something. Say anything.
No, John had it with
It was High
ex-girlfriend.
Fidelity.
Many
Well-
ex-girlfriends. I said girlfriends.
Oh, girlfriends.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking the boombox one.
No, I don't know if they were dating.
We'll say
yet.
that could have been your fourth one. Your fourth one could have been.
Could have done. I could have
Hold up
said
a
anything
boombox.
for my fourth one.
Better Off Dead is the scheme.
Yes,
right?
John got it.
Oh, Better Off
Do you know the
Dead.
street value of that mountain?
I did just
I want my $5.
I did just watch Hot Tub Time Machine recently, so if you
That
need a
is
hot
in it.
tub, there you
There
go.
is someone in the background that says, "I want my $2."
Oh, is it $2? It is
Yeah.
$2. I said $5.
Well, inflation.
Well, it's a good thing we're not playing Seen It right now,
Oh my God, I suck at that game.
Edit that. Okay,
and
great.
everyone is gonna want to listen to that. But
It's
Yeah,
really
just
good.
as a
Catherine
side
is-
note for our Patreon this month, the three of us played Seen It, but we made up our own kind of version of the game, and it was a
It was great. It was really
Yeah.
great. Didn't I
was
win? Did I win,
hysterical.
or did you win? Who won? John lost. I know that
yes,
much.
I lost.
did I think you won,
Maybe,
and we
probably.
actually couldn't even tell. And, okay, spoiler.
I can edit the episode any way I want.
Apparently,
who do we want to win?
It's my fault because I was keeping track and messed up a little bit. But the misdirect from Catherine just getting like 4 facts wrong is she did very well.
She
I did okay, yeah.
But-
I mean, the funny thing also was I had designed this game. My fix on the game was like, oh, let's do it this way. Oh, and then I can't read because I'm dyslexic, but I have now designed this so that I have to read these. Like, what am I doing?
I know
was
it's like here's this
so
cool game that plays clips. What if we only do the reading part? All right, sure.
on an audio only podcast, y'all. It worked out great.
It was
True.
very fun, though. All right. Anyway, okay. So, wait, John, did you have more people that you wanted to mention from this movie?
I unfortunately I don't know all of them super well. They were all quite good. Dolly De Leon, who is a Filipina actress, ends up really, stealing the show in some ways. So there's a lot to enjoy in this movie.
Nice.
I look forward to being able to talk to other people about it.
Yeah. You're like, go see it so we could talk about it.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Okay. Well, let's wrap it up. So, what did I see? I saw Mr. Harrigan's Phone, which is on Netflix, which is not super scary, but it is Stephen King. So, it's a little scary. And then I also saw 2 stand-up specials. Iliza Shlesinger, Hot Forever, on Netflix. And also Yvonne Orji's A Whole Me on HBO.
And apparently you were also watching Ghosts.
Oh, yes. And I was watching Ghost. Thank you, John.
Which is on CBS.
Which is on CBS. Thank you, Ed.
I think it's on the Ghost Network, actually.
Oh, my God. Okay, speaking of ghosts,
Speaking
Ed.
of ghosts, I watched all the Ghosts Busters movies.
Yay.
Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, Ghostbusters, Answer the Call, and Ghostbusters The Afterlife. The first 2 available on Hulu, the third on Freevee, and the last one on Starz. So some of you will be able to see some of those.
I saw Triangle of Sadness in the movie theaters.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you for listening to What We're Watching. And please follow us on all of our social media at Podcast Watching. And you can join us on Patreon. And specifically this month, we are doing Movie Seen It and our own version of that game. And it is ridiculous and very funny. Okay. So see you on Patreon. Okay. Thank you for listening to What We're Watching.